Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's final show of the 2022-2023 athletic season, we'll talk Bulldog football after an exciting weekend. We'll also check in with postseason play for Ferris State tennis and women's golf. We'll start first, though, with Bulldog football, joined by head coach Tony Annese. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rob.
Obviously, a great weekend for your program here this past weekend. You had the spring game, national championship ring ceremony, so a lot of excitement around Ferris State football.
Yeah, a lot of activity. It was a little bit tenuous trying to get it all, planned and everything, but it went off great. Very well attended spring game. A lot of alum, former football players back. And then obviously culminating in an extraordinary banquet in which we all received our national championship rings.
You mentioned the alums being back. What does it mean to have a lot of those guys be loyal and involved in the program and back for this event?
It's awesome. It's overwhelming. It really is. Just the love that they possess for one another. I mean, there's so many of them that are just so extraordinarily well connected still. And I know they tell me all the time, hey, we got 40 guys on the same group text that we've had for this amount of time. And so it's great to see. Obviously, it's hard to get back here, I mean, Tavier said, hey, I've got practice. And so, there's different things that obviously people have in life that keep them from coming back. But I know there's a bunch of them that want to be back. Talked to Robert Thomas III yesterday, and he's like, man, I just wanted to be back so badly, but I just couldn't make it. And so there's so many of them that want to be back. And the guys that do get back, it's just cool to see them together because they act like they're in college again.
As we start with the spring game, and obviously the spring game, a chance to wrap up spring football, but a couple of those alums, honorary coaches for the game, and Austin Edwards, Jason Vanderlaan, two guys that obviously had their opportunities in the NFL.
Right. Both guys that, obviously, great players for us, won a lot of accolades here. I think Ace was the player of the year in the conference, and I know Jason was. So, just having great history of success from those guys, and they're just both such great human beings. And then Caleb Murphy was one of the honorary captains, and Marcus Taylor, two guys from the team this past year who were just superstars for us.
Obviously, a competitive game ended up being in favor of the white team, 43-35, but a lot of excitement from a lot of younger guys that were able to see the field.
Yeah, we cheat a lot to try to keep the game close for sure. Brady kicked an onside kick, and obviously there's no kick receive team out there. So just to have a lot of fun, just to try to get the game down to the wire. But there were a lot of young, talented guys that performed very well. I thought we looked fast. I thought we, looked like, we were very athletic. And I think there are a lot of aspects of our team that really grew a lot. And I feel confident that we got a good group of young men going into this next season.
Obviously, you held out a lot of those older guys that have been around, and really a chance for those younger guys maybe to put on a show in front of the fans for the first time.
Yep, obviously Malik has a foot injury, so he didn't participate at quarterback. But the quarterbacks that did play were wows. They were really good. Most of the running backs played, and they were, I thought, really solid. And the O-line, D-line, physical, and the skill guys around all of those guys, I thought were pretty impressive. So, it's a good group of young men, and it's an exciting time for us.
What did it mean to have a good crowd of family members, friends, alums there on hand to kind of watch the spring football game?
It's great to have so many people there, right? It's I pulled in an hour before the game, and there was tailgating going on. The parking lot was almost full, and I'm like, what? And so that's cool to see people tailgating before the game. And then, all the teams that that Ferris State Athletic Department teams that were there was awesome. And then obviously we include them and stuff, but for women's soccer to be out there, they're down to the semifinals and NCAA tournament. They were announced, before the game, 10 minutes before the game, and then volleyball got their rings GLIAC championship rings, and obviously they had a great season. And men's basketball, they had a great season. They were out there, and women's basketball had a great season. They were out there. So it's great to see just that in and of itself, and then to add to that fact, so many community members, Big Rapids community members, and just people excited to be out and be able to celebrate football again.
Obviously, you celebrated the spring game on Friday, then Saturday, national championship ring ceremony for the second year in a row, and a tremendous event held at the University Center on campus.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that that we pulled it off for a second year in a row, and it was awesome to have Dr. Pink there, and obviously Steve Brocklebank. They both spoke and did a great job, and of course you emceed it and did an extraordinary job like you always do, and so it was a great event, and you can see just the players are beaming, with pride, just looking into their eyes and into their faces, smiling with each other and feeling, just that sense of accomplishment. And then, when it finally is, rewarded with the tangible thing, which is the ring, that's really cool to see.
Obviously, I know a lot of people helped contribute to that, and certainly for the rings, the Ferris Foundation, and Jeff Schmitz, a loyal alum that did a tremendous job.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, right? It's hard to come up, like you can skimp on a GLIAC championship ring, no offense, but when it's a national championship ring, you're trying to get the best looking ring ever, and that ring is very good looking, and then to afford it is another thing, right? And so Jeff Schmitz, wrote a big check for it. The foundation board is committed to helping all the athletic teams at Ferris State, get rings, and so a combination of them helped, a lot of people to get rings, which a lot of people deserving of getting rings, including you.
Well, obviously, here you get ready, you close out the spring and the national championship ceremony, and now I know right back into the recruiting period, NFL draft coming up this week, and then off-season workouts for your guys.
Yeah, that's a lot already this week, right? First off, the draft. We're excited for Murph. Can't wait to hear his name. A few years ago, I was driving along when Zach Sealer, his name came off the board, and I got all of a sudden ba-boom, 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 ba-boom with phone messages and text messages, and I'm like, I could feel my phone vibrating in my pocket, and I said to my wife, "Oh, Sealer just got drafted," and I hadn't even looked yet, and I just looked, and it was like already 20 text messages, congratulating us that Zach got drafted, and so we're excited about that. And then some of the other guys, some are playing now. AT had an interception this weekend, and so it's just cool to see these guys just playing professionally. We counted the other day, we have 10 playing professionally at some level, and that's amazing.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time, and we look forward to a great season coming up next fall again.
Thanks, Rob. Looking forward to it.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.